strong. Gone, gone are those halcyon days. We could do no wrong. Gone is the pride felt on that day. Gone are the friends that entered the fray. When the rivers ran red, red, red. 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 When the rivers ran red. Gone, gone are those halcyon days. We were all so lost. Gone, gone are those halcyon days. We gladly paid the cost. Gone is the rage that no blood could slake. Gone is the wrath that made the foe break. When the rivers ran red, red, red. 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 When the rivers ran red. Gone, gone are those halcyon days. We were all so young. Gone, gone are those halcyon days. Aged when we were done. Gone are the screams still in my head. Gone are the
inevitable.
It's always going to break. Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. Hopefully this all works. Hopefully people can hear everyone. Seems to be okay. Streamlabs just fell over, so who knows what's going to happen here. So this is a chat that's probably been about probably 3 or 4 months overdue, I think, because it seems to be one of the biggest arguments that you get on Bookface, on the Empire forums, and in the forums, and anything to do with Empire and the monstering side of it. Because when people go, "Oh, you fight, you monster," very, very simple. That's how it should be. So many people argue about it. So many people argue about it, and it's yeah. So we'll get into a lot of it tonight. We'll have a chat with Rules. So we've got Josh with us on my right, who is in Skirmish Crew. He's on Skirmish Crew, so he's come to represent the Skirmish team. And we have Scott on my left, who you all know. He is in charge of the Nation We Don't Discuss, EMU.
It's Unstoppable Thunder Hippos.
Unstoppable Thunder Hippos. Amazing.
He's on film.
So if you get any questions or anything like that, then just go for it. Just ask away, and we'll stop and we'll deal with what we can. So, Josh, because this is your first time on stream, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I believe it is actually. So I'm Josh, as my name has been mentioned a few times now. I've been in Skirmish Crew, I think, 2 and a bit years at this point. Turned up a couple of years ago, pretty much on my own, joining Skirmish Crew. One, because I'd always enjoyed the fighting part of LARP.
Yeah.
I wanted to try Empire and see what it was like. And also, I was a fairly broke student at the time and found that crewing was a really, really good decision. Then went into Skirmish Crew on my own and found them to be this loving, amazing, wonderfully happy family that were really supportive and just really loved what they were doing and going out there and trying to put on good times for the players, and have had amazing fun with it ever since.
Excellent stuff. So I've heard a rumour about Skirmish Crew. Is it true that after a decent fight and you all get into the tent and you all lie down and have a bit of a cuddle, that Andy Connell really is like the woolly blanket that covers you all?
Not Andy Connell, it's actually just his beard.
Just his beard. But
Just his beard.
he doesn't actually have a really big beard though, does he? Let's face it.
He has trimmed it in the past, which it's reduced its capacity, I think.
We've got Pete, who's joining the Brass Coast. That's a beard. that's like down. Yeah, that is a hell of a beard. So awesome. That's cool. So essentially, what we have to do when we go to Empire, I think, if we start off with the very, very basics of it all, we all like to have a bit of a scrap. If it wasn't for people like Josh and Scott, who are willing to either devote their entire event to fighting, or are willing to wrangle a load of players. Thank you, Ben. So I put in some more point redeemed things and stuff. So there's you got Scott, who wrangles all the players and gets them together to fight, and gets the hippos. What are they? The
Hippos, yeah. The High Guard EMU.
Yeah. So, I mean, it must be quite difficult to get a lot of players together if they've all been out drinking the night before very, very heavily, and then you wake up in the morning.
Fairly blessed by having a fairly veteran core to it, but it does involve a lot of running around the nation going, "Get up! We need to get out of here." MUs need to come up together and slightly early to get our extra tiny things.
Excellent.
So people are like, "We've got a monster by X, but take half an hour off that."
So John's just redeemed no cursing for a little bit. So we got a few minutes of no swearing allowed on stream. So we've got about we'll go for 4 minutes of it. Yeah. So yeah, because I mean, I fought in the Navajo EMU, and that was a great laugh. Justin and oh my god, I've forgotten his Matt.
Justin can talk to the whole camp at once.
Yeah, I mean they were really good at wrangling everyone and getting people together to do into one cohesive unit and stuff like that. And as always, I just took the piss with it and became something very, very different. Helen says, "Wait, we can make Steve drink." Are we just Steve's doctors now? Yes. Yeah, believe me, I need it at the moment. I feel like he needs have a snack one. Yeah, I've ruined our dinner tonight, so so it's not. So I haven't eaten again before a stream, and it's all my fault. So yeah, so if you do the drink thing, have you got a drink there, Scott?
Powerful squash.
Excellent stuff. So if someone
I've got Tanky Danuki Brown. So.
Okay, excellent, good choice. So they've just redeemed hydrate, so everybody. Good stuff, right? Just don't take the piss with it, please, and do it every single second.
We'll need to,
because I will just turn it off. So yeah, the EMUs are great, and then you get everyone together because it creates a bit more cohesion within the nation. I've found, and are really, really good. Stug says, "Take the piss." Gotcha. I will fong you, young man. What's that? I can't hear you through all the drinking. Oh dear. So, but then you get Skirmish Crew who live the fight. Pretty much, you are out there constantly.
Pretty much.
Uh,
See if I could. So Friday night it'll be 6 to 9 skirmishes.
right.
Then get shouted awake by Andy Connell on the Saturday morning, usually about 7:30. Doing battle prep, then go through setting up for the battles, have the battle, then usually finish that about 10:30, 11ish.
Mhm.
Have about an hour break, then go through, do 3 to 6 skirmishes, hour break, 3 to 6 skirmishes, hour break, 3 to 6 skirmishes, hour break. Then if you're stupid like me, you like doing the night missions as well, because chasing people through the woods at night and scaring the shit out of them's fun.
Yeah.
Then Sunday morning, get up about the same time, do the battle prep, and then do all the pack down till usually about 4 o'clock on the Sunday.
Cool.
Usually the weekend.
So you are kept quite busy then.
Oh, you don't stop. So we wake up like 7:30ish. With, as I say, Andy Connell screaming at us very loudly, and we officially finish for the night at the end of battle brief at 10 p.m.
Nice.
And that's when we all go into the icy area and get drunk.
Well, you'll have to make sure you come and find me, and I'll make sure I've got a drink for you. So that'll be good.
I will at some point. Although the thing is with it's one of the things that some people I see are starting to take advantage of, where they realise when skirmish crew are finishing up for the night and are basically waiting for us, knowing here are people who have got money to spend on nothing but booze.
No, I'll just give you a drink. Yeah, I'll just give you a drink. That's not a problem.
Backstage, if you guys come
And
off,
we have
happy
made
monster.
players very angry before. Like 4 or 5 of us last event drank the Artem's Arms out of their mead on the Saturday night. Got lots of people angry with us. Oh well.
So do PD just give you money then, do they, or?
So we have what are referred to as R&R characters.
Yeah.
Sort of things, which are like characters, playable characters, where we can go into the IC field. We get like a resource thing like any other character was, but we do have quite a lot of restrictions on them, what we can do.
Yeah.
Not allowed to commit any crimes, not allowed to go and get positions, you're not allowed to like take boar seats or anything Senate-wise or general-wise, or actually get involved of politics. One, because you don't have time for that, because you've got to go do your crew roles. And second, say you've got like a military unit, and we're not allowed military units or fleets either, because say you're in like a general ship or you have a military unit, and this skirmish is gonna control something dependent on that. It's almost as if I'm mysteriously not going to try on this one. It creates conflicts of interest.
Yeah.
Which...
Yeah, I can see that. Helen's asked, how accessible is skirmish crew to get involved in?
Quite accessible, actually. So there's, I believe the contact details are on the Empire Wiki and on the PD website.
Yep.
It's usually going to be Tom Hancock's or Andy Connell you're going to want to get in contact with. They're usually very friendly about it, very open to invitations.
Yeah.
So long as you can commit to doing usually at least 2 to 3 events a year, is what they ask. They're very happy to have you in. And it's something that has been really cool, because Skirmish Crew has very much grown over the past few years. I've been part of that growth, obviously.
Yeah.
Because supposedly about 3 or 4 years ago, they expected anywhere from like 40 to 50 something Skirmish Crew an event. And now we're starting to live up to the moniker of the 100 a little bit more. We're usually getting about 80 or 90 an event, so it's good.
Yeah, because when it started, I mean, I remember early days before they even created the 100, and me and kit, we're able to, because we're in the same striding and the Navajo, and if we just like we're a bit bored, we've got nothing really to do, so we would walk along to Monster, and we'd just say, "Do you need people for a skirmish?" And they'd say, "Yeah, we need like another 30 people," and that, and say, "You two are quite big," and say, "Do you fancy putting these suits on for us and stuff like that?" So we used to wander along and do that, but we can't. We're not allowed to do that anymore. Just wander off the field and ask. So we have been turned away. I've been turned away a few times and stuff. So it's and the big monster suits are limited now for skirmish crew, aren't they, as well?
They're limited now for skirmish crew, yeah.
Yeah.
One, just because some of them are a right pain in the arse, and you need to have practice with them, especially any of the ones that have got stilts on and stuff like that. You need to have had some practice, and also some practice fighting in them, so you're not just going to clobber people.
Yeah.
And second, I think it's a little bit of the case they don't want the stats of these creatures getting out in the wild.
Out in the wild.
If you know what I mean.
I like that.
I've done the big monster creatures before. I've done like the Valorn, like giant bugs sort of thing, and when like they help you set up and everything like that, you are specifically told, right, here's the stats of it, and you don't tell anyone this.
So what are the stats of it?
Now here they are.
Excellent. So Liam's. I mean, this isn't really much for a skirmish one. I think this will be just in general. Being part of skirmish crew, if there are any injuries that are not IC, is there any signs or things things to do that doesn't break immersion, or is it just a thing outright saying my leg really bloody hurts? Can I get actual help? So I've witnessed we get man down calls, Liam. So you will, Dawn says, none of your business when it comes to stats. Yeah. So you get man down calls. So if someone is actually hurt, they will be lying on the floor, and you can generally tell. And people will normally back away, and a ref will go over. You'll get if it's a very serious one, you'll get a man down call, and everybody within like 50 feet of it, 50 yards of it, will take a knee. The fight, if you're all the way on the other side of the field, you're still fighting. It doesn't that they sort of stop it, but a ref will be stood there. Then paramedics will come over and things like that. So it's
like a localized stoppage.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you are hurt, just raise your hand, because a ref will come over. There are a lot of battle refs out there. They will see you. They will come over. They will ask for help, or a player will actually stop. Will be around and will like see if you're that badly hurt. And I have seen players sort of get the ref's attention and point, and a ref's gone running over, and then paramedics have gone running over. Well, first aid really, aren't they? They're St John's ambulance. They've gone running over to sort those things. Sorry?
But I think they're St John's ambulance. They're definitely professionals.
Yeah.
So those guys are, as somebody who has both been and seen them and seen a lot of people go and see them, those guys are amazing.
Yes.
So like the medical staff at Empire and like the little medical tent they have set up and everything like that. Those guys work wonders.
Yeah, they are fantastic. There's an older woman, shall we say, who attends occasionally. I don't think she does the events when they're expecting really bad weather. So, but she turns up, and between her and Nick Turner, when I had my 3 pod shots in 10 minutes, well, like minutes and that, and she was over and she was like, what's happened? You've gone down a few times. And Nick was just like, I'll let him explain. And he's gone, and I told her what happened, and she's like, well, I'm not touching it. It's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm just going to sit here. I literally was like just kneeling down for 5 minutes to try to recover. So painful, but so fun. So when it comes to the EMUs then, Scott, every nation has an EMU. I think Wintermark has 2. Because...
Yeah, Wintermark has 3, actually.
Is it 3?
They've upped some. Because it kind of varies. Some EMUs are just everyone in the nation, kind of pretty open. Some of them are more exclusive. Ours kind of sits in the middle a bit. And initially, it was a group of units. Originally, it was a different system we formed up for, where they were making custom tribes. be like a minor orc tribe that happened to be friends with all the big ones.
Yeah.
I think someone realised that didn't make a huge amount of sense, and created EMUs. So we kind of already had the foundation there. Though if anyone in Highguard does want to join us, then find me on the field or on social medias and such.
Yeah.
At it. But effectively, you take either a core or anyone who's interested in joining to go off and do it, because it's slightly more effort than standard monstering, where you can just roll in and be told, "You're Orc Peon 7." Like, woo! And you go over here. We have a higher standard that Andy expects of us and what we expect of ourselves. And I know the other EMEs do to different degrees. But that also means you get more interesting stuff to do. So if you're interested in being an orc rather than just out of obligation sort of thing, you get more interesting stuff and more interesting battle roles usually.
Okay.
It's well worth. And then that scales up. Like, there is a budget from PD for EMUs to make more EMU kit, which I'm terrible at taking advantage of because that's the scrap hunt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something they can do is, if you write things off, they can get shield covers or gear or whatever for your EMU to make you look more unified. We've done odds and ends of that. I need to do it better, frankly, rather than just paying for stuff.
Yeah, because Justin, who's in charge of, is one of the people in charge of the Navajo EMU. He gets he gets help from PD, and then he suddenly posts this thing up on Facebook saying, "I have got 10 kilograms worth of material over here," and I'm making 50 war skirts and 50 sashes and stuff like that. So
I'm like, I'm going to do that, and then Justin's like, I already did that, and I've taken all the materials in Southampton. I'm like, God damn you.
yeah. Bless his cottons. He's he has all the keen in the world though, doesn't he? He loves monstering, and that, and if you know Justin, he's not terrifying when he's running at you. It's more comical. But if you don't know Justin, he is terrifying when he is sprinting full pelt at you. Because
he looks like a berserker, but when he's chuckling inside,
yeah,
it's fine. If you don't know that, I imagine.
I have fought
just people,
yeah. I mean,
one like him and Andy Connell, you see them in battle lines, and people are forming around them like a fantasy painting. They're literally the point of the spear.
Yeah, I mean, with Justin, I've fought against him a few times when he's been monstering, and you can hear him laughing, and it's just like, it's not immersion breaking. This is amazing. I'm loving it. I'm pretending he's enjoying the fight, not that Justin is pissing himself laughing because he's fighting Steve. And that's it. It's probably both, yeah.
You just love battle. Drew's just messing with your head, and Grendel are trolls. So
it's great. I love to fight Justin. It's the same with anybody though. You get people aiming for you, and they'll go, "Oh, I know them," and stuff like that. Because I mean, you're told a lot monstering. If you see someone, don't look for them. Don't go for them specifically. But everyone does. You do. You see someone you're going to be more inclined to fight them or give them an epic bit of role play or something like that. I mean, I've been killed by so many people I know. It's unbelievable. I've been killed by Scott more times than I can count, and I've been killed by Kit. So everybody I know more times than I can count. It's fantastic. It's such a good laugh.
You try and recruit them when you see them shopping for new kit in the marketplace. Oh, I heard you died somewhere.
So, we've had quite a few more questions here. So, so I'll just say to quick as well, when it comes to the EMUs, it's, if you're interested in joining your nation or want to find out about the one in your nation, in your nation group on Facebook, just say, "Do we have an EMU?" Because you'll probably get 2, 3, 4, 5 people go, "Yep, we have one," or "Here's the group for one," and so on and so forth, and you will go on from there. What's just happened?
EMUs tend to be massive keeners for various reasons.
Oh yeah,
they're stepping up, so they're usually looking out for things like this to some degree. Obviously, people have lives, but if you post up on the Facebook groups or possibly the forums, people will be like, "Oh, hello, I'm the EMU," and put you onto the right people.
Yeah, I mean, I find that when I'm fighting in the main battles, I run around so much and I have put so much effort in. I'm generally dead. I'm absolutely exhausted afterwards. So when it comes to doing the other battle, the other side of it, it's like I don't want to be in an EMU. I personally, I don't want to do that. I want to be peon number 7 over on the corner, over there, so that when someone's doing something funky or something like that, I'm more involved with that side of it. I like the individual bits of the story. So, like fighting against this little kid. I say little kid. He was like 15. He had just passed his citizenship test. He was actually in High Guard. It was his first battle, and I'd beaten him down, and he was lying on the floor, and he started crying, and he's just like, you're sort of looking at it, sort of like, oh, don't know how I feel about this. Oh, you're right. And he was just like, oh, it's first battle, and says, oh, and he goes, we got all of this new stuff. And he goes, my dad's gonna be so angry with me. And it's like, no, he won't. He really, really won't. It's like, oh my god. And you got all the High Guards screaming over for him to like, is he all right and stuff like that. But our line was marching over, so I was just like, oh, he's very dead. So I picked him up and walked him over, and I just tucked it in. It's not like the girl who I said, "Oh yeah, do this," and she turned around with a full like gauntlet and punched me in the face. And then I turned around and I said to him, "Right, you've got your sword here." I say, "Your shield I'll drop off at Monster afterwards at God, so you can go and collect it." I said, "But you got your sword," so I put it in his scabbard. I said, "Right, pretend to elbow me in the gut, then knee me in the balls, and bolt for your line." So he turned around, he pretended to elbow me, pretend to knee me in the balls, did brilliantly. I just dropped to the floor like a sack of spuds, and he went. And he sprinted. The cheer that went up, it was like 400 people cheering for this kid. And he got back there and stuff, and it was really, really cool. It was great. That's the sort of bit that I love to do and just get involved. It's like someone shoots you with an arrow after and you'd like go flying with it. And it's loads of stuff like that. It's I love it.
Well,
It used to be the hammer blows on that, so and skirmish crew as well.
I mean, as much as you're meant to be there to give a fight, though, you do always put in like a rule of cool as well, though, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like so, I think it was probably my first ever battle. I think I did. It wasn't going very well. It was a Jotun battle that was like hadn't gone well for the Jotun at this point. I think the area commander was dead, so I was just desperately trying to point people over there, fill that gap. Then all of a sudden, thwack! Somebody just headshot me with a bow. Felt like I've been slapped across the face. But like in a split second, I realised I'm stood like 45, 50 feet behind the line, and somebody on the Imperial side has managed to spot me. Go, he's the one giving orders. I'm having him.
I do like it when you see that stuff.
Perfectly get the angle, like let it go and hit me square in the face. I went. Brilliant. I've technically got 2 hit points left still, but whing.
Yeah.
Because how cool a moment for them is to look over, see them hit me in the face, and me just hit the floor like, fuck, I got him. I got him.
Yeah, it's fantastic when you see things like that. It's like when you get the Orc line and they're marching towards the Imperials, and you got all the commanders and that stood 30 feet back, and as the Orcs are going there, but you just see the volley of arrows go over them because they've separated themselves now from the command unit. So the command unit just get pelted, and it's just like, I like seeing that sort of thing because it's like, yeah, no one cares about the Orcs that are 20 feet away from us at the moment, and there's no shield wall there. Let's go for the big bloke at the back over there who's probably got 20 odd hits and stuff. It's great.
Well, no, my favourite thing is as a joke at some points we've baited that a bit. We made
generals.
It was a Jotun battle where Andy Connell was leading one of the units. I was part of his unit that we were leading in. We like smashed our way in, made a pretty good dent in the Imperial line, but slowly over the battle got pushed back, like pinned against the fence, and slowly got cut down. Anyway, we're like lying there. Andy finally goes down because, of course, he's Connell, so he takes half an hour to kill. finally lays down, and somebody starts shouting, "We got the general! We finally got the Jotun general!" He's just lying next to me, turns and goes, "No, you didn't. You metagaming fucks."
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of get a pre-battle briefing the night before, so that we have an idea what our units are up to. So at least a few times, Andy's been like, "Well, I'm not actually the general today; it's evil." But everyone's going to think I'm the general, so I'm going to go stand in the field really obviously, and then our actual generals will be over here, and they'll never know, sort of thing. Which is always funny.
So I like the no, I like the way that all the monstering side of it is very reactive as well. Because even when I'm playing Mac and I'm there and I'm fighting away, and you take a step back and you can see things that are going on, and you see how the battle evolves and stuff, and that's down to the people in charge of all the monstering, to the refs and stuff like that. And I love the fact that it all changes constantly, and the skirmish crew and EMUs and everybody involved reacts to it all as well. I mean, there have been, it's like Andy. I remember a fight with Andy Connell where I was gunning for him. He was walking around with a bow, and he was taking shots at me, and he went off. He went back through that a bit out of the copse to the left, where you've got the pinch point going into the woods, and he was stood there. He had like 2 people with him, and I got pulled up, and I thought, I'm having him. There's only 3 of them. I'll have him. Went sprinting off after them. When they bolted back into the woods, I went running through the woods, and then immediately turned around and came sprinting back out, because I got chased by like 70 Jotun. Because that was pretty much he had decided, yeah, when you get checked, we're going to chase this one person when he comes running through after us. We'll get one of them at least. No, bolt gone, absolutely gone.
I managed some Navajo who know who I am, and they know I tend to not always, because I rotate who gets the leader stats. But Jotun Jarls and Vikari leaders and stuff tend to be covered in stuff. They know to look for me if I'm covered in ribbons. And we baited them during one battle, right down to the side gates by Monster, because we'd been through a few waves. There's about 5 Thunder Hippos left, and we were all battered to various degrees, out of herbs and stuff. Rather than kamikaze, because you're playing characters rather than mix. So we're baiting them, and I know there are reinforcements going to be coming this way. Don't know when, but from the battle plans, I know where the reinforcement points are. I went to bait about 20 Navarre in loose formation. They're like, right, we're going to come on, fight us. Like, yeah, we're going to surround them, start to cut us off, and then about 100 Jotun reinforcements just poured on through the gate. I think they must have been out of character, out of sort of, they were behind my back, so I couldn't see. But just suddenly, Jotun! Charging past, I'm like, oh yes, that'll do nicely. Just see the look on Chris' face.
Oh wow, yeah. So because I need to catch up with chat. So Liam's asked, when monstering, how on brief does the costume parts need to be? I was told that the colours that highlight what type of orc group you are need to have all the colours in case, which I get. But can you go for one type of kit but just in different colours, if that makes sense?
For monstering, you're best off with black or brown base level, because that fits everyone. And
every should we say brown to beige to raw cotton sort of colours. Any orc faction's gonna have that, and that's the best step off. And also, it's. Go ahead.
I was saying, you need to accessorize off of that basically. So you can pick up what's it called? Primark do those big snooty Scarfings.
Yeah.
Those 50 when they're on sale, and you can just buy one in each colour. There you go. You've got because they're so big. I use one of them in my character. And they are a great bit cut spot colour that immediately links you in, because if you're monstering, you've usually got the Orc breastplate if you're working from nothing. Orc breastplate from PD, maybe some other bits of Orc armour, and then your natural colours underneath, or neutral blacks and stuff. As soon as you put one big red item, like a scarfy snood thing, think about it around your neck, and there's oh, he's wearing red. And the brains goes wearing red, and you look like a Jotun. Until someone's basically wearing, finished reenactment gear, top end Jotun, for example. But it's best because you don't know who you're going to be fighting.
No.
Not specialise too much, I think, unless you're in an EMU. Point some of those specialise in a specific enemy unit. I'll do something for everyone. Yet. Find out what they are one day. Like some EMUs are purely a Grendel unit or purely a Druge unit, for example, and therefore they've gone into a bit more effort with that specific unit. For example, the best thing I got for the Jotun kit as a base, obviously I was looking to clothe lots of people for very little, was a simple kind of mantle made out of a square of fabric with a hole in the middle.
Yeah.
Gives you a fairly distinctive look. And again, you can get that for a couple of quid. Times 3 or 2 now, because I made peace with the Grendel again. So you don't need to worry about Druge and Jotun barring some calamity.
Well, you just get a simple sash. Can't you just wear a sash around of that colour? I mean,
I hate sashes in general for characters, but for monsters, they're great because you just want to have that mass of colour. And that's developed over the years. The first few years, orc hordes were just an orc horde of mud. Look around battles now, more of a commander, and you just see tides of people in red or in green or Grendel a bit trickier, but Greek reenactment kit.
Usually purple is what we go for Grendel.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird.
Purple and bling is the general thing.
Purple and bling.
Actually, one of the things I picked up for our MU is bling is made out of Christmas decorations. Take those necklaces for everyone.
Helen's asked, what's everyone's favourite style of fighting? I assume you get to try a lot in Skirmish Crew. This is directed at you, Josh.
So mine varies. I seem to like either the polar opposites. I love a good line fight. It's one of the reasons I like being some of the harder units in the Jotun, because I can just have a shield and a sword and all the heavy armor in the world and go, right, you're moving because I can say you're moving.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably my favourite to battle as. But in skirmishes, and when you've got the room for it sort of thing, which on the current site we don't as much for the battle, I also love just being a Druge bastard skirmisher. I've been a Druge hoople, like a bow, a quiver full of arrows, and a dagger before. Just get behind the Empire lines and run round being an asshole, and it's so much fun. Just go running by, stop for a second. Oh, there's the healer. Ping! Keep running, keep running, keep running, keep running. Oh, there's the commander that doesn't have heavy armor on their back. Ping! Keep running, keep running, keep running.
Excellent. So that's your fault then. So what about you, Scott? What do you like to do when you're monstering?
I try everything. Monstering these days, we tend to be the Jotun, and I love it because we play Raliost. Don't quote me on that pronunciation.
We will.
Right, it's either Raliost or Radiost, depending on who's saying it.
Jotun word to finish, and therefore evil. It came from a different language base.
So you enjoy being ravioli?
But because they line break, and that's my standard inclination. So running straight forward into lines to smash is always fun. And it gives me a bit of a break. 'Cause at the moment, I'm playing a mage in K, so it's something I'm not getting to do in my uptime. So I get to burn that inclination.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not running around 2 hit points going,
Yeah. See, I want to try to use different things, but for me it's a bit difficult to borrow the weaponry. Because now I'm in Wintermark, so if I want to borrow polearms or spears, it's difficult because the people in my hall, we've got 2 spears and they're both being used for monstering already now, because that's their monstering weapons. Or if I want to go up to the 2 feet to do it, they're generally being used as well because they're actually fighting that day. So it's a little bit difficult, but I have been able to do sword and board a couple of times. I'm quite particular. I do like ambi so much. I have so much fun doing it, and that's what I want to get out of it as well. I want to enjoy what I'm doing as well as doing what they want you to do, but I want to have as much fun as I can. So I think I've used a pole arm a couple of times, and that was hilarious. That's great fun. So yeah,
It's satisfying to use.
yeah, yeah. They
Well,
are.
the thing with pole arms is they're great when they're going well, and when they're not, they're terrible.
Yeah,
Get off me.
yeah, definitely, definitely. So okay, let's move on. What else we got? Oh, Ben's redeemed posture check, everybody. Thanks, Ben. Liam's redeemed hydrate. Yeah, Liam's redeemed hydrate. I finished mine. Oh, I've got a little bit left. We're done. Yeah. So Liam said, "Is it possible to become like an important enemy type? Like I'd really like to be some big magic dealing orc."
So, mages and heralds and stuff like that generally are kept within the skirmish crew. Is the unfortunate thing.
There are some in EMUs, but they're specific briefs. So if you look on the wiki, there is the orc units for each nation, and those are basically what the EMUs are, and obviously the skirmish crew as well, and some of the players, depending on what battle they want. Like if the battle brief says it's all Jotun elites, then all of the monsters will be Jotun elites. So, for example, in our Jotun unit, the Ralyost, we get some heralds, which usually gets very confusing because all the other heralds are skirmish crew, and then people pinch them to do the main herald job when they're meant to be displayed. And they have some specific rules. And also it varies. So most EMUs have a boss type, and our Druge type, because we're a battle mage unit, is a horrible evil ritualist, which is basically my character on steroids, which is quite fun to play.
I can imagine.
Into the future, turn evil and have loads of XP. So there are some versions out there, and EMUs always have roles for like minor mages. So you literally have like heal and mend at like 2 points, 10 mana or something like that. And then a specific language I'm probably going to get wrong. But for low combat characters who want to play like rear echelon types, there are roles for those in EMUs. Don't think you have to be full time. You're committing to a role, but it's not necessarily a high combat role. So there's usually support of some description. I think all of the briefs I've read, and I've read half a dozen or so, have a slave mage or spod mage or support mage, some description.
Pretty much every single Orc Nation Orc brief has some form of like low combat, low support, and there's very few that are like exclusively no, the players can't do that. I think there's 3 of them, and they're only that way because you have to. Those are the ones that can execute, I believe. They're orc types that can execute, and those are exclusively skirmish crew.
Yes.
But besides that, they do get thrown between DMUs and stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Specific numbers. So we get one. I can't remember what it's called now. Vakari, maybe Chikad. I should have to tab open. So when we're playing the Druge unit, we have mostly battle mages, 1 boss mage, and then a certain number of sergeant types. It's a bit clearer in the other nations, to be honest, because like the Jotuns have Jarls, and then they have heroes and stuff, and Godi. Druge a bit more circumspect as to what they're up to.
Yeah.
But then again, we could also be a ritual team, which we haven't had to do yet, but the other Vakari EMU has done on the field and got killed.
Excellent.
Infamous, let's go stop that ritual, and then I got shot in the face and fell over, and then Kit didn't notice and charged off by himself.
Yeah, I remember that one quite well.
And, when we weren't doing a ritual team, actually I was power on a ritualist as the character that I could do some solo rituals. But that's about the upper limit. So generally you need to start your own EMU and steal the power, or be an EMU and take up. I know a few of us rotate leadership because I don't want to hog it, sort of thing, just because I do the paperwork in between times. Except the Druge one. I love the Druge leader. But the Jotun Jarl, we usually rotate around a bit.
Right. Okay.
So give people a chance to have a player leading as well without it being stressful.
Yeah.
If people have taking command in character, it's gone wrong because of inexperience, and they have been shattered. The guilt and people giving them shit. So I see, but some people take it really seriously. It's like, game, like you're generally bullying the person now, you know. But if you're a monster leader and we all die, then like nobody cares. It's not ideal, but we'll be back without our magic items in 10 minutes. So unless the battle's going really badly,
which they do. There was a question earlier that I saw. Which is your favourite nation to fight against when you're monstering? Yeah.
Ooh.
No, I think.
I already know who mine is. It's great. Really easy.
Mine's different depending on who I'm playing. Is the problem?
Okay, well, give us those then. Go on.
So
Interesting.
when I'm playing when I'm playing Jotun, I genuinely like fighting Wintermark, just because it turns into this like line on line genuine who's the hardest fight.
Okay, interesting.
And I get a laugh out of that, and I enjoy it. Especially being able to stand in that line and see it moving and stuff like that. I enjoy that. If I'm playing Druge or something like that, I genuinely like fighting the Navajo just because it's fucking chaos. Two units that aren't completely cohesive, aren't completely organised, just charging into each other and seeing who lives on the other side of it, and it's great.
Excellent. Okay. So what's your least favourite nation to fight against then?
Least favourite nation to fight against?
Yeah.
Probably, in a combat style, Marches, probably. One, because their combat style is being a giant wall of bills that you can't do anything against. And if you step into them, they will stab you in the bollocks and the face simultaneously.
Excellent.
And then, as much as they're not too big and get a lot of shit, Urizen. Because you've got the Sentinels, which is like their front line, and like shields and weapons and stuff like that, and can hold fairly well. And then you've got everyone behind them with their mages, which means you square off against them for 10 seconds, and then everything you own is shattered.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that. But that's
which is one of the reasons we got, like, as a skirmish crew, we got such a laugh out of the Jotun battle at the end of the last year of play, where we had the Kath and Kane heralds with Shatter, and all of a sudden all the players went, "Wow, it's not fun when they have it, is it?"
No, I can imagine. That's what it's like fighting against me, though. This is why I go running into lines, generally on my own, because I will call Shatter 5 times.
Yeah, I've seen you do that.
So, and it's great fun. I absolutely.
But when it's one person doing it, you can kind of localize it. When it's like 15 Shatter mages.
Oh yeah. I have.
And you're like, well, I'm down to a dagger. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I've got Shatter mages in my unit now, so I've got like 6 of them, and they've all got staffs of Imperial Majesty as well. So they start calling in power on you as well. So I literally can go running up a line calling Shatter like 30 odd times. It's amazing. I love it. It's so much fun to do. Anyway, but I digress. What about you, Scott? Who's your favourite and least favourite to fight against?
So we do different jobs. So the Jotun and the Druge are usually looking for a weakness to go and destroy. We're looking for different things. The Rallios are looking for a weak point to run through, and the Vicari are looking for a strong point to make into a weak point and have someone else run through. Generally, you can't just say, well, the people are the weak point in every battle, and these people are the strong point. But I do like charging through Dawn with the Jotun because they get so worked up the Jotun aren't following their idea of the Jotun honor. Always funny. The players and the monster brief are very different on how that actually works, which is interesting. I shouldn't go into detail for reasons, but they are good hard skill fighters, but they have no discipline. So
Yeah.
you get this kind of rolling skirmish mayhem, which is so much fun to fight through. Where line fights can get very static, and you don't want an abject slaughter. Like if you catch someone if you catch what the owner really looking for, which is someone disorganized or responding quickly enough to you, but you get the good mix of a good fight, but you feel like you're going somewhere, which is always quite fun, and often utterly devastating to both sides, which is always also fun.
Oh yeah.
Bruges, we haven't had many run-outs with them because, as I say, because of we're in Highguard, we're almost always fighting the Bruges, and someone else is fighting the Jotun for politics. And so we're the Jotun a lot. But the Druge, I quite like anyone who throws up static lines like the Marchers or Wintermark, because we just run in and drop debuffs all over them. Because that's the Vicari, just cleaves, venoms, entangles, all this mayhem, shatters. Just all of the bad spells just thrown in a blob over everyone in a line. And just individually, well, I've been weaknessed and my leg's gone, and then someone next to them's like, well, I'm entangled, so we can't fall back, and then someone else is like, I'm venom, so I've got to run off and get a healer. And to watch it, it's only worked beautifully once out of the one round, and it was just like the line kind of melted in confusion, which was very satisfying to watch. As everyone just went, what, no, what, no, and then a big blob of Druge heavies ran into them and mashed them all over the place, which was great. But that was part of the Great Donut of Death, so and our Grendel just loved fighting everyone. Like, it was great influence. So our Grendel unit is their Shield Wall of Doom unit.
Grendel, it doesn't matter. They'll just take anyone, won't they? I mean, their merch this week has pretty much summed up the opinion with them, hasn't it? Grendel, we're better than you.
It's just for the British Empire, which I think is amazing. Because the Marchers are obviously the English, Grendel are the British, very much in how they act. And it's hilarious to watch people react that violently to that. If the Empire was India.
Yeah.
So I think it's very fragile behind the scenes, but.
Well, the thing with the Grendel is that they're so combined arms. It's like they've got the front-facing heavies, they've got the skirmishers, they've got the ranged, they've got the big monsters to back them up. They're so combined arms that they can kind of come out, and whoever's in front of them has to take it seriously and do something.
Yeah.
The EMU that we are is the Stoneborn, and they're actually in their brief, in the ideal brief, they're 50-50 crossbows and shield wall. And LARP crossbows, I think, amazing up close. If you just run a really low-powered one, because let's be honest, you're never going to get great performance out of a LARP crossbow.
No. And
just take these point-blank shots in and around the shield wall, they are horrifically effective. And if we could pull that off, shield high.
So the way that we run them is 50% shields, 25% spears, and 25% crossbows. You have the shields, which stand about an arm's width apart, with a spearman stood slightly back in between them, and then crossbows dotted along the line, so any mage or anyone in low armor who tries to step out, whing, and then you just step forward, step forward, step forward, step forward.
It was used against me a lot in Odyssey, where Impale was better and just went through all the armor. That people would either throw or use a polearm high, and they would shoot me in the lower body, or vice versa. Because I was marked for death for various reasons. I'm not entirely sure of, but I was definitely marked for death for being in general. It works amazingly well, and that's the sort of thing I'd love to do with our Grendel, but getting everyone to buy crossbows.
See, for me, See, for me, I love fighting the Navarre, regardless. I mean, being their general before, and then being from the nation, now off somewhere else, I get to fight against them. And it is so much fun. Seeing how they do it all from the other side and all of that. And I enjoy that sort of, I suppose, that meta of it all. Because you know the nation really well, and you know everybody in it, and you're stood like 30 feet away, and it's like, they're all over there, and it's just like, this is great. I'm loving every second of this. I hate fighting Highguard.
Because we win all the time, obviously.
No, because you're bastards. I get more headshots from Highguard than I do fighting anyone else. and there is
It's
there's, well, yeah, there is a certain someone in Highguard in a certain shattered place who normally has a very very long sword and has repeatedly walloped me on the top of on top of the head with that a few times. His name begins with an L. I'll leave it there. So
I'm just so pleased with, you know.
thankfully he didn't call Cleve when he did that.
I was literally chasing you around, going, "I'm going to cleave Steve's arm. I'm going to get him so good." But you're always just slightly further away in the melee sort of thing.
See, this is why I wear the armor that I do, because if I wore full plate, it wouldn't fit the character in the slightest, and Steve hates it. So it's why I wear enough plate to cover the points needed. So lower legs, lower arms, breast and back, and that's it for me, because I'm able to do enough so that if someone's swinging at me and they're going to call cleave, I'm able to, if I know I'm not going to parry it in time, I can just move my arm back enough so they'll hit the plate and call cleave. Or with the legs, you just move back a little bit, and they're constantly hitting your greaves anyway. So yeah, so I'm all right with that. And if someone calls cleave on a pod shot, the refs will generally just go. The refs will just go. We'll wait until you've stopped crying, and then we'll let you continue. All right. So I just love the fight though. I think for me, I love to get stuck in, and I like to do stupid things. Like I charged the Empress when I saw her on her own, but she wasn't on her own, and I think I hit her twice, and then all of a sudden there's like 18 people around me, and I'm getting panel beaten, and it's like I'll just die. And that's it. And they just leave you.
That's the general trick. If you're getting hit from like 5 or 6 different directions, you just don't go, "Well, I'm not counting this anymore."
Yeah, exactly. So, I missed what they were talking about. So much. Alex says, I'm also interested in whether or not the social contract works. I'd hope so. I'm guessing this is the social contract about fighter battle, monster battle. In my experience,
it mostly works.
Yeah, I have fought a battle and then not monstered, and that was where basically I had blown my knee out in the battle. It was in a skirmish after the battle, and my knee had swollen up to the size of a watermelon. So it's like, I'm not going to fight because this is dangerous now. I could barely walk, let alone run or do anything. So I just sat there.
That's fair. If you can't walk, you can't battle. But
yeah,
I think people need to put pressure, because everyone knows people who do it. People do it, to be honest, or the system wouldn't work at all. We've all seen battles that just fell apart because there wasn't enough monsters. A couple off the top of my head, and one of which was just like, oh well, I spent 2 hours getting ready for the battle, and now in 15 minutes it's over. That was fun. Because there are people like, for want of a better term, repeat offenders. Just need to put that social pressure on them to People, like I know there was someone in our group who just had to give up battling because he could only do one per weekend, and the option is there to do them alternating weekends, but he can't commit to doing every event, so he just stopped battling, which is,
it's honourable.
That's still enjoyable for him.
Yeah,
that's a better way of doing it. Consistently missing your monster slot, you are making the game worse, even if they're your friend. So
yeah, I'm quite lucky with the fact. Yeah, I'm quite lucky with the fact I don't get hangovers, so I'm always up early. I'm up early enough, and I get up and I get ready, and then I'll wander off with people, or I'll wander off on my own, and I'll just go and have a laugh and stuff like that. It doesn't matter how tired I am or anything like that. If I've had 2 hours sleep, I'm still there, and I will still monster. I think I've only ever missed one big battle and monstering because of it, and that was when I did my back in literally the night before the event, and I had Sam and the Navajo turned up and he like sat me down and he brought me chili and everything. So that was really really good. So yeah, there are. I will always say that you need that social contract. Like you've said, Scott, you need to put pressure on people.
You do have to put pressure on people, and there's some things that are acceptable and some aren't, sort of thing. Like for like physical injury sort of thing, like you blowing your knee out or your back out, that's something we completely understand, sort of thing, and is completely taken into account. Like we even have a policy where if people come up to like the login desk sort of thing for Monster and go, right, I'd really like to Monster sort of thing, but I've got this injury, or somebody comes up for somebody like my friend would have been here, but they've got this injury. We'll put like a tick for your nation sort of thing, because we're like that's not their fault. They wanted to be here, but they've had a genuine injury.
Yeah.
But when it's people who are like oh, I didn't come Monster because I drank a bit the night before sort of thing and slept in till 12. It's like not entirely legitimate, especially because we all go to battle hungover.
So many when I was younger.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
The easiest way to put it, like as I say, skirmish crew finish our battle brief at 10 o'clock at night. That just means we start later than everybody else does. On the IC
As I
field.
say, as an EME, I'd go around and kick people in the morning, and there was one occasion where I had stayed up extremely late and had about 3 hours sleep without my CPAP because I was an idiot that weekend. So I'd literally walking on hours not really sleep, and 2 days before that of not really sleep. So I was fatigued, to say the least. I was actually roused out of my tent, half armoured before I'd had anything to drink, sort of thing, just inhaling caffeine and sugar to make me function, going, put gear on! Where the hell are the... Wait a minute. Where the hell are the hippos in blue? You know, rounding people up. You know, it doesn't take long.
No.
Motivated, or you know, you've got 30 people going, "Where's the leader?" It's all his fault.
And the other thing is, honestly, once you're up, and especially once you're in the battle and the adrenaline hits and stuff like that, it's not as bad as you think it is.
No, definitely not. Because Alex is.
That does remind me of sorry, our LARP unit for someone's stag do. Well, you know, it was the day after a stag do, and we went and played paintball against the. Turned out to be the local armed response unit's day off. Literally, one of our guys stumbled out, got shot 5 times in the gut, puked, fell over, just went, "I'm out." It just reminds me of it. It's not that bad.
Brilliant. That's awesome.
Generally, laughers don't paintball you 5 times in the gut.
No, I've seen people who have been out really heavily drinking the night before, and I've gone and I've got up and I've walked out. It's like, where are they? It's like, oh, they're all still asleep. And then you see them a bit late, like an hour or so after you've come back, and then they crawl out of bed. And it's like, oh dear. So, I mean, in all fairness to them, so what they have done is they have wandered off to Monster, and they have done like 3 skirmishes. So they've gone out just to do a few things and stuff like that. So it's not ideal, but I think it helps as well because it adds to the numbers. So I mean, I've done that once, but that was like year 2, and I've wandered out, and I think that was the weekend when me and Kit fought something like 17 times over the 4-day events, and that was stupid. That was. And we didn't want anything to do with our nation anymore, so we went and monstered for half a day. And that was great fun. That was so much fun to do. I love monstering. I really, really do. Getting killed and just then going off, come back, and stuff. So I mean, my ideal battle would be you've got 100 of all the skirmish crew or something, and then they just run in like on one hit. But they're allowed to, as soon as they get back to this tree, they're allowed to run in again. So you get that constant cycle of it all. That'd be amazing. I'd love that, but that's just a wet dream of mine. So Alex has been
another system.
They did. I
was playing it. There were about 20 monsters, and they were playing one-hit goblins, and they swarmed us for about an hour and a half.
Oh,
they were taking breaks.
Yeah,
it was just, as far as playing concerned, there was just constant goblins, and at first you're like, well, these are easy, and then after a while you're like, I'm so tired. And they're wearing us down with those odd hits. But that was one of the best monster encounters I've ever had.
Yeah.
just for.
So there's a couple of there's a couple of things that's come up in chat at the moment. So Helen has correctly said the healing blob is super well protected. All the healing blobs are well protected. There's been one battle where the Jotun and Wintermark healing blob was in the same place and they were both together healing each other's troops. I hated it so much. I wanted to go in there and kill everyone. In character as well. I wanted to commit as much murder as I could. I hated it so much.
It's war crimes, that event, so
Yeah, that was horrific. That was. I hated it so much. In character, out of character, it was a thing that they had organised.
Your side agreed to that.
Yeah.
Your side agreed to that.
Out of character, that's up to them. It's whatever. I have no say. I had no preference. Yes, Steve has no opinion on it out of character. In character, Mac hated it and he wanted to kill everyone, even his own side's healers. They were committing war crimes in his eyes. Mac commits war crimes every fight. Anyway, Alex has said because Alex is non-com. What happens if they turn up and they don't need any more water carriers or anything like that?
Often have other roles.
Yeah, generally there will be other roles.
Yeah,
it's something that we stress. It's something that we stress with the battlefield, and it's something that PD genuinely ask us to say, is that when it comes to the monster role sort of thing, we tend to use the term low com rather than non-com.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, regardless of what you're doing, you're on the battlefield, and you're in front of a bunch of people who are looking for a fight.
Yeah.
Is the problem. So you may be non-com, so to speak, or playing one of these low combat roles, but it doesn't mean that the fight isn't going to come by you at some point, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, if you're completely non-combatant, you aren't playing the other battle generally. If you can play, then you can do some kind of monstering. Is my opinion, anyway. Whether that's hiding behind the lines. Monsters commit less war crimes. But if you've played a battle, then you're capable of getting on the battlefield. Some capacity, which is usually mirrored in the barbarian sides. But I know, I'm sure something still the person who did it isn't playing anymore. But they do things like coming in early, do the makeup for the monsters. Like you have the production line of orcs getting black around their faces and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
If you want to have an outfit, you can't fight because the person for their job couldn't risk getting injured, basically. So they did make up a monster, which is just smearing black on people's faces. And then Skirmish Crew also do that. So I don't know.
Yeah, and if you want to turn up and help with that, it's always appreciated because we hate it.
Excellent, excellent. Because I like.
That might be during COVID times, but
yeah, because I think what Alex is talking about is where Alex is looking at playing a healer, a surgeon, and stuff like that. So I think it's more a case of because they've had quite serious surgery on their knee, so there's always going to be worry that. So if you've been seriously injured in the past, then you're going to be really worried about doing an injury to yourself. So all I would say is that if you are doing your nation's fight and you're playing and you're doing the healer bit, you're in the healer's blob, chances are you might get hit. If you are in the battle and you get hit and you go down and you physically cannot carry on, you just put your hand up and you go and find a ref and go, I'm hurt, I cannot do this, I need to leave. And they will say, go that way. And they will
agree.
Yeah, and that's it, and you leave. That's it. It's really as simple as that. If you are hurting and stuff like that, you do not fight. It is as simple as that. Give it a go if you feel like you can. If you want to go and then monster and be a water carrier, do that. Because I believe wearing those masks and running around, you get hot. You need hydration.
Water carriers keep us alive.
Massively. So you are all idolised. And then you get to
do it the role play way when they're like, I'm a humble slave. And you're like, I love you. I'm like,
Yes.
no, I'm a slave. And you're like, no.
There is a, I believe she's from Dawn. There is somebody. She's a water carrier. Every single time they have to battle, and she keeps just tucked in her bra. Like the Robinson squeeze things.
I know who you're talking
Like,
about, and she's
yeah,
from
and
Wintermark.
oh, she's from Wintermark.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
She is genuine. She gets more protection than the generals
yeah. That's
at times.
that's my friend Helen. That is. So she has, yeah, she does that, and
It's incredible.
she's fantastic. Yeah, and she has, yeah, she's really really good.
Out low combat is there is a low combat EMU. I'm not sure what nation they're in, but if you ask in the General Empire group, they will probably sort it out. I
Mm.
think it's Wintermark, but I think also they take on people from other nations.
Mm.
So you're there. I'm terrible with names, so I can't remember. Lou, the unit. And she's very good at getting healers and stuff and running like the back line stuff. Obviously, there are also monsters doing that, but
Yeah.
if you want to heal in every battle because you don't want to run around, that's probably a good point of contact to some degree. Especially they can only be in combat.
Yeah. And point case as well. Water carriers should not be attacked by Imperial soldiers. I have seen it happen. Don't get me wrong, but this was years ago, and the people who did it were asked to leave the field. Not the entire field. They were told to leave the battlefield and go to God because they got a bollocking for doing it. Because people who do the water carriers on it, they are doing it for a reason. They've got, I think someone had spine surgery, and they were recovering from that, so they could barely walk, but they were doing it. They had crutches and everything, and they got mullered. So PD they will look after you. So you should not be touched at all while doing it, unless it's a cheeky or giving you a kiss on the cheek or something like that. Who knows?
Well, there is a no combat if people come up to you. I can't remember the exact rule, but it's something like you can put your hand up and drop to 0 hits.
Yeah.
And just stop people when they're like 5 feet away. You go, are you attacking me? And then just go, okay, I fall over.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Because PD recognise there are people who, generally in the IC field, you might want to assassinate someone who's had spine surgery, but they're also, your political rival,
Yeah.
or crime boss or something like that. So, there are rules for attacking people who come to that, and you should give people the chance to do that and say, "I'm going to murder you" or something like that, and they're like, "Cool, I'll fall over."
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. No, that's a really good point actually. That Scott, I always forget that one. So if you are doing something and someone is coming to attack you, you just stop, 0 hits, and then you just sit down, lie down on the floor preferably, and then
probably not power gaming. They're playing a water carrier, or that attached to their character.
yeah. Oh, speaking of doing something like that, there is one thing I want to. Actually, no. Let me jump on with chat. But someone remind me to bring up playing Possum because I need to bring that one up.
Oh.
Okay, I need to bring that.
Okay.
I need to bring that
Okay.
up. Okay. Question then. So this one's for Josh because Scott has a PC. So Josh, if you had to go be a PC like your left skirmish crew, what character would you play, or what nation would you join?
Okay.
You must have thought about this.
I have thought about this. Honestly, it's mainly going to be based around where my friend groups are in inside the infield. Where I think my 2 biggest friend groups, mainly from other LARPs that I've played in the past, sort of thing, so I know a lot of players are them. Marches, I quite like. I also quite like the nation feel of them, sort of thing. Other one, genuinely, Urzen. I think for a nation as small as they are, they have a really, really big impact on the system.
Yeah.
I like a lot of their magical, mystical sort of thing, and their internal icy sort of style. That'd probably be where I end up. I mean, my current downtime character is a winter marker, though, I will say.
Nice. Definitely come and find me in Wintermark then.
I will at some point.
Good.
Also, because I've got plenty of money that I could probably buy you drinks as well. But
excellent. Oh, thanks for the bits, Alex. Love it. Thank you very much. Okay, let's scroll and let's get it going because I can't go on too late tonight because I overran massively on Monday, and it impedes in family life, so I can't overrun.
You mean you have a life outside LARP, Steve?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I have a wonderful fiance who tolerates me, who puts up with me. I'll just finish theirs. No, I don't. Not about me doing stuff. It's just she tolerates me. I think that's the best way to describe it. And I have a demon daughter as well, who's 11 going on 36. So yeah. Where's the jug to fill bits and pride flags? I want to hear the automated voice bot say splosh again. The jug is on the other interview screen because there's more than 2. I can't really bring the jug out. If you donate over 100 bits, you will get the automated voice still. And so if you donate over 100 bits, it will say splosh again for you. I promise you. Alex, I find it stressful, dull, and yeah. Okay, so right then, let's scrolling through. There's been lots of stuff here. Breastplate, quick chun. Oh, this we were talking about drinking and hangovers and stuff like that. So Brad says, quick chunder, Moorish fryer, chain smoking, coffee, then mask up. For me, it's get up, bit of water, maybe a beer, wooden spoon, get the trenches breakfasts, eat that monster, do my thing, come back, probably another one, and then I'm good for the day.
Get up, shower, wooden spoon. Usually then, like crew welfare, grab some Freddos for the battle, and then mask up.
Excellent.
I'm crew for other purposes. EMU leaders don't get to get into crew welfare. Crew welfare, the people who run that are goddesses.
I did.
I don't know who.
I helped the Red Caps dig out because down by the bottom of the Navajo woods, all the drainage was blocked. So we literally had to dig a moat. Well, you had to dig it out really to create a little river for it all to drain. So me, Josh in my hall, and Helen and a couple of others, we all helped them do that. I was doing a lot of it, and so the Red Caps, it's not it. Ambrose came wandering back and gave me a couple of meal tickets and about 10 Freddos. It was amazing. It was so good. I miss the Freddos. I miss being gate crew and getting all of that sort of stuff. It's fantastic. So right now, where are we? Right, keep on going, because obviously I haven't got long now.
I never use all my meal tickets. I'm a big babby.
John, if it's not been mentioned, and for newbies that might not know, the best place to find out battle, monstering, and skirmish information is the toilet block. Yep, there'll be an A4 piece of paper stuck on the wall, so when you walk in, you will see it. Have a read of that, and it tells you what to do.
Pest your generals, they love it.
Yeah, do it. Always ask the generals. Robertson squash must be protected at all times. Yes, it must. Helen and sorry, it beeped there, and there was enough bits. Oh, there was no message though. Oh, we didn't get the message, so there's no message. But thank you for the bits though. Really appreciate it. So Helen has said playing Possum for when Steve gets down here. Ben has said, future Steve, remember to bring up playing Possum. Oh, dear. Okay.
Do this now?
Right then. Yeah, so we'll finish off with playing Possum. Because playing Possum is a... yeah, so when you do the bits, sorry, you can put a message in as well. You can put a message in, and... the robot voice will read it out. So it was just because there was the bits, but no message, unfortunately. So playing Possum. This is an interesting one. You are not allowed, if you have points. Well, you can lie there, from what I remember, and if someone comes up to you and goes, "Are you alive?" you have to say yes. Is that how you
People
remember
don't.
it?
Yeah, basically, you're allowed to lie down whenever you like. If anyone asks you, "Are you conscious?" you have to say yes or no, or something along those lines. Basically, you're above 0 hits, which people still don't.
No.
Is try and stay quiet or say I'm not. You look like, and this is what upsets me. Is it's basically an exploit. The character would be lying there with their guts out and their arm half off, like, "Oh, I'm pretty much bleeding out," like whiting out. And stuttering, but obviously your phys rep doesn't, because well, unless it's gone really wrong, or you're really good at fake makeup on the speed.
Yeah.
Which my character, Blood Mage, tends to end up looking like I'm dying, but and that annoys me because I ran afoul of it a lot as a younger LARPer, because I am a giant keener who tends to fight to the death in ridiculous situations. And I'll go down bleeding, and the monsters will go, "Right, that'll learn you," and walk off. And then 20 players stand up, and you're like, "Oh, cheers, guys, I'm dead."
Yeah.
Maybe if 21 of us, we might have won. Now, that doesn't tend to happen as much at Empire. I've literally had to, in an infamous battle, pick over the field looking for injured people to, pull them to the front so that people can save them. On the, the down low sort of thing. But and literally going like, "Are you alive? Are you alive? Are you alive?" And then minutes later, see those people get up and run across the field, and you're like, "Come on, guys! Like,
Yeah.
play the game." Like, you hadn't been asked, or it angers me again because I've been frequently killed because of it.
Yeah. It annoys the shit out of me. It really, really does. You two have got to hydrate. You two have got to hydrate. Carry on. Come on. Thank you.
It's something that gets to us too. So we of course we have it generally as a thing that unless there's some very, very specialized units that only do it in certain circumstance, we don't execute players on the skirmish crew. We don't execute players. We always want to have that chance for them to be saved, sort of thing, and it leads to some really cool moments, and it leads to like certain strategy and things like that around going and collecting the dead and being able to have control over like where your men have fallen, sort of thing. Whereas the playing Possum, especially on the player side, is kind of taking advantage of that sort of thing. It's, the orcs are coming. Well, I know that they're not going to stab me if I'm down on the floor, so...
It's tough to lie down. And especially now the rules have been tightened up, because you can't be trusted to do certain things, unfortunately. There was a time where the Druge would just go around cleaving everyone on the leg on the floor, just for lulz, because, Druge. But that has been tightened to pure skirmish crew now. So, if you are down, air monsters should not do anything to you.
No.
Other than potentially identify for crew to come and do something with.
Yeah.
It could be a giant exploit, and like I said, it is an exploit because you can't accurately phys rep that. And maybe if you were fighting like stupid, well, not husks. Husks can kind of see if you're alive just instinctively.
Yeah.
Someone stupid you might get away with, but orcs aren't stupid.
No.
They know you're lying there completely uninjured.
The whole idea of the people being able to come up to you and go, "Are you alive?" and you have to say yes or no is, they're orcs, but they've got the same basic knowledge human have. An orc can come up and check your pulse.
Yeah.
If they come up to you, then them going, "Yeah, are you alive or not?" is what would be usually the equivalent of an orc going, "Yeah, this one."
Yeah, that has happened to me. I have played Possum once, and it was really, really funny. I was on my own, and the orc line just walked over me, and I was just lying there thinking, okay, there's a couple over here. And they split and went off, and one came up to me with a ref, and the ref was just like, "You have to tell him the truth." And it's just like... So he literally just went, "Are you dead?" It's like, "No." Smack, smack, smack. Got up, bolted, ran straight into a tree, and then got caught by the other guy. So it was just like... It was
The
just-
one thing that we don't mind is when people, should we say, do it for a reason that, like, should we say, you're injured and you decide to like ambush Possum or something like that. That
Yeah.
we find funny.
yeah,
So I've seen a few people do it, and I've done it once myself, where I was playing Druge, took an arrow at the leg. Like, well, my leg's screwed. So I'm going to pull myself up against this tree, spear in my hand, and the next person that walked past me, strike down,
excellent.
and watch as they shit bricks.
Yeah. So I mean, I did that, and that was purely because yeah. I mean, I had purely fallen over, and I went down, and they for some reason didn't do anything, so I just laid there. And I was just like, I was making it really obvious I wasn't dead, because I was leaning up, looking around, and I was moving around a lot. So it's like there's Possum, who people who just literally lie still, and do it like that, and then it's like I was looking around a lot. So when they came over and was just like, "Are you dead?" I was like, no. Bonk, 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 and stuff, and then that was it. And then ran into a tree, had a nice fight with this other guy, and I'm stood there. My main reason for doing it was then I got to attack a general from behind as the Navajo were pushing back through. So I then got to attack on my own from behind. It didn't go my way at all.
The one time I ended up Possum is when we're fighting the Marchers as a Druge, and somebody did a really awesome big cleave across my thighs, which I stupidly hadn't armoured, with a big pole axe thing. And I'll take it on both legs, it looks cool. Went down, and then they just walked over, and I'm like, I'm not actually dead. Like, by the time I'd got my knife out, the front lines of the Marchers had walked over me, and just their egregore was stood there. So I was like, you know, I'm not small. I'm wearing bright green. I'm elbow crawling through the mud towards this egregore who's chatting to someone, and literally like Jaws. Shanky shank.
Yeah. So Alex has said I'd call someone out in character if they were faking, and it meant that someone else was going to bleed out who was really down. So would I be an arsehole for calling them out in character? I think there is in character. No. If you drop out a character and you shout out that someone's cheating, don't do that. If you're sure someone's faking it in character, point at them and shout, "Are they actually dead?" and things like that. Out of character, there's refs there, so they wear black and yellow. You can see all the refs in the battle. Grab one of them.
Bumblebees, we affectionately call them.
Well, they don't like that, do they?
Well, some of them don't like that.
Some
But they'll never shake it off.
So see a ref.
It's always speak to a ref when you worry about cheating, because people get angry, and you know, especially when your blood's up, because you are literally in a battle.
Yeah.
And body can't tell the difference between real and fake.
Yeah, because I got hit by an arrow once, and was Andy Connell called someone out of character, one of the monsters, and it was because someone shot an arrow and it hit the pole arm that was behind me, and it came and landed on my shoulder. And the guy was screaming at me. He was screaming at me to take a hit. So he was taking the hit, and Andy Connell just went, "Shut the fuck up. Leave him alone, that's not a hit." And that was it. It was just like, okay. Well, Andy Connell says no. It bounced off of like 3 things. So it was just like, no, you can't. Yeah.
It's just talk to a ref. There is usually 10 in arms to each. Well, depending on how mad the battle's got. If it's dense, there's loads. If it's spread out, you might struggle. But there's usually at least one in sight. And say, that guy over there, that guy over there isn't taking the hits, is hitting too hard, is, you know, whatever they're doing. And they will deal with it. Because, you know, it is all too easy to get enraged and belt someone in the face or otherwise be unsafe. Not worth your blood pressure.
No.
Getting older.
Yeah.
Let someone else deal with it. Get on with the game. Go fight someone else. You know?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure.
Pretty much. So, Dawn has said we've been asked officially not to call them bumblebees. I think a few find it quite in. We make them feel like children, basically. Okay, so what we'll do is I'm going to call it there for 2 reasons. I haven't eaten, and I might need a wee. So Scott needs a wee, so we're good. Thanks for coming on, Scott, Josh. Really, really appreciated it. We need to check our postures quickly. So sit upright for the end. So it's thanks for coming on. Thanks for approaching me as well, Josh, about this one and jumping on. That was fantastic for you to do. Really, really appreciate it. When I do any of these streams, if you know anyone who we go, oh, this person will be good, or anything like that, then I love it when people approach me to say, oh, can I do a stream? Can I do this sort of stream or anything like that? I love it when people come to me to do it because it means I don't have to chase people. It's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. So, I mean, I know people who will always want to do it. So, Scott, it's always reliable, and that. So thank you two for doing this. Really, really good fun as always. Hopefully, we'll get you back on again, Josh. We can chat some more about all of this.
Yeah, sure.
Really, really good fun. Thank you, Scott, as always. Thanks everyone in chat for coming along for the evening, having a laugh and that. Thank you everyone who's given bits, asked questions, just generally chatted. It makes these streams a lot more fun to do. People are saying thanks for the stream, so yeah, all really, really appreciated. Thanks for using the train emoji for. There was no tangents tonight. Sorry. Yeah, really, really bad. There's normally all these tangents that we go on, but none happened. So, I mean, we got close to a tangent with paintball, but that was about it, really. So, yeah, this will all go up onto YouTube as well. So, it'll be on YouTube soon. Okay, so thanks, everyone, for coming along. Take care. Remember, during lockdown, if you're struggling, reach out. We are all here for each other. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.